Most people never water their lawns after Halloween, and certainly not during the cold winter months. However, there are lawns that would benefit greatly from having a good spritz a couple times throughout the off-season. In this video, I ran my irrigation on my early December lawn for the purpose of decreasing the likelihood of extensive root shedding over the course of the winter. Going into this session, we hadn't received substantial precipitation for approximately 5 weeks, but yet my grass hadn't quite gone dormant yet. So I thought that this would be a perfect time to explain to you who might benefit from irrigating a lawn in the middle of the winter season, how much to put down and how often. So I just watered the lawn over here earlier this morning. It should be moist according to my moisture meter. I'm going to stick it in the ground and find out. So almost immediately, the dial now is in number 4. On the wetter side. I'm going to go to the other side of the house and show you where we're at before I water the lawn. Now, as you can see, I'm watering the main lawn right now over by the garden and the play area. But over here, I haven't watered yet. I'm planning to water. Look where we're at. So right here, we are down to the 2. We're getting really close to dry. And the thing is, we just haven't received very much precipitation at all in the past month. We've had a lot in the forecast and it just never pans out. And the days that it does come, it barely comes at all. As you can tell, maybe you can tell, the lawn is almost dormant, but it is not dormant yet. There is a lot of green in this lawn. And with all of the blue skies, even in the month of December, there's enough light hitting the ground to warm up the soil and keep the grass from going all the way dormant. And if we're not getting moisture, enough moisture in the ground, it's going to go dormant due to drought conditions and not general winter conditions. Even if this was late January and it was freezing cold outside all the time, if the ground gets dry for a long enough period of time, the root systems underground are really going to start dying off. Now, there's a general winter die-off of root systems. It's totally natural. It's the same thing happens to cool season grasses towards the end of the summer. By the end of the summer, there's a lot less root mass in your soil than there is at the end of spring. What we want, however, is to minimize the root mass loss through the winter, and we're going to lose a lot of root mass if we let things get too dry. For the vast majority of lawn owners, you're never going to have to water the lawn from Thanksgiving until the end of February. Most lawns are going to do just fine so long as they're getting at least a quarter to a half inch of water on them every month throughout the winter season. This is because dormant grass isn't growing. It isn't using the typical amount of moisture from its root systems to grow new tissues either above ground or below ground. Also because low sunlight levels and cold winter temperatures result in very slow evaporative loss in the soils below the turf canopy in your lawn. The thing is, most places are going to get this small moisture requirement from natural precipitation, rain, drizzle, or snowfall. And for those limited climate areas that don't go dormant, the grass will still slow down so that it's not using the same moisture requirement that it does in the higher growth periods of the year. Those areas are also going to be seeing less sunlight and experiencing cooler temperatures, so their moisture requirements are also going to decrease dramatically during this period of the year. I would advise people in those areas where the grass doesn't go dormant to make sure that you're getting at least half an inch to 3/4 of an inch of water on your lawn at least every few weeks. And if you're not getting this moisture from the sky, you're going to have to add it to the lawn in the form of irrigation. The thing is, though, places where the grass doesn't go dormant typically receive plenty of moisture every few weeks from the sky. So it's still very unlikely that even those locations are going to have to run their sprinklers to keep the lawn's root systems hydrated. You will, however, have to keep tabs of how much precipitation is coming down. That one's on you. The most likely places that are going to need to irrigate their lawns in the winter are the arid and semi-arid locations, similar to where I live, or possibly the plain states, which can frequently go through extended dry stretches. Where I live, we do get snow from time to time, but we don't usually get very much, and it's very common for us to go 4 to 5 weeks throughout the winter and not see hardly any precipitation of any kind whatsoever. For places like us that have lots of blue, sunny, clear skies, but yet very cold, dry stretches through the winter, it can be very useful to keep one cold, winter-hardy hose and an above-ground sprinkler available to add small amounts of water to your lawn only on the warmest days of those dry stretches. For me, I keep a winter-hardy, heavy-duty hose available all the time anyway because we have animals that I have to tend to. But during those dry stretches, I can also put my impact sprinkler on it and get a little bit of water on an otherwise dry lawn. In the middle of January, I don't want to deal with my in-ground sprinkler system. It's already been drained. Now, I would never add more than about 1/4 of an inch of water to the lawn at any point in time during the cold season, mostly because the lawn doesn't need that much and I don't want to turn my lawn into a muddy winter swamp. I just want to keep enough moisture in the upper layer of the soil where the most of the root mass resides. In this video, I added some water to my lawn in early December. I'm not going to add anything more to my lawn until early January, unless I receive substantial snowfall at some point during the December. At that point, the clock resets. This whole strategy's purpose is to retain as much root mass as possible going into spring, and it's a part of my comprehensive root development strategy that I follow throughout the year, which I have linked down below. I also have a full winter lawn care guide devoted to everything that should be done or could be done to the lawn in the winter. I have it linked right up here over the corner. If you haven't watched it yet, I suggest that you do.